In this new episode of Diary of a Puzzle Gamer, I'm gonna tell you about a wooden puzzle that I recently solved by a new company called PuzzleUp. If you know Liberty Puzzles, it seems that this company is trying to follow in their steps to give you high quality puzzles made of wood with creative cuts. And I can tell you already the conclusion is yes, but in part they are doing the same thing or similar to what Liberty Puzzles does, and they're doing it at a fraction of the cost. However, also the quality, the production values are not quite as good. So here my conclusion is from PuzzleUp you can expect good wooden puzzles that are not as excellent as Liberty puzzles, but also not nearly as expensive. So PuzzleUp, the puzzle that they sent me as a review copy came in this box, wooden box, which is partially broken already, but it's still holding together. As you open it, you will find inside that there is a canvas bag that contains the puzzle, not anymore now because I solved the puzzle. You find these two holders that I assume after you complete the puzzle, and if you use a Mod Podge or other types of glue to hold it together, then you can exhibit your puzzle like this as an ornament in your house. Then you have, this appears to be a coaster, but it also has a magnet so you can put it on your refrigerator, which also is the only thing in the entire production with the image. So what you see here is not the image that I find on the puzzle, nor is the image anywhere else. So this is the only reference that I had for this puzzle, which is about the Niagara Falls. And then of course you have the puzzle itself. The puzzles basically have a range of subjects, and you can select the subject and then also the size. So the size, so each subject is available in multiple sizes as far as I understand. And what you see here is what they call the hard size. They measure hardness based on size, which is approximately 455 pieces approx. Haven't counted them out, it looks about right. And well, why don't we take a look at the whole thing. First, I want to show you a general view of the puzzle. It does look nice. The image is of good quality, and the pieces fit together to an extent, which you can expect when you see the crazy shapes, but also again, you can have crazy shapes that hold together a little bit better. For example, here you don't have, for example, a strong, here you go, yeah, you don't really have a strong connection here. You have an entire rift almost that runs through the puzzle. You can still move it around and the puzzle doesn't fall apart. But my point is that, as you can imagine, there were many times where I had 3, 4, 5, 6 or 7 pieces that clearly fit together. They just didn't have any strong connection. As soon as I tried to move them around a little bit, the entire thing fell apart. And it's one of those puzzles where you have some, funny shapes. So for example, here you have a hot air balloon, you have a penguin. There are other companies, again, Liberty, that do this, and the funny shapes have to do with the subject. And so I don't really know here what the penguin has to do with the Niagara Falls. And then there is a butterfly up there. As you can see, the pieces, since they don't really connect all that well and they move around, now I'm struggling just to put the penguin back. You got a butterfly up there. I guess they got butterflies flying over the Niagara Falls. So first, this is cool. This is neat. However, there aren't all that many. There are maybe 5 or 6. There's a dolphin down here. There may be 5 or 6. Oh, I have to show you this. Look at this. This, you see that connection? It just so happened that the edge of that rock falls exactly where there is the cut between the pieces. So actually when I was solving the puzzle, I put them next to each other. I was like, there's no way this is correct. It just looks so horribly wrong. But then after I've exhausted all possible lines with that curve there, I had to admit. And the things you can see, some of the connections, they lost the upper layer. So if you look carefully, you see that, or you see the wood under the image, which is not ideal. Again, oh, there's a little sailboat there. So you really had the philosophy of Liberty puzzles just done a little more on the cheap, not just materially, but almost say creatively. You have some funny shapes, some interesting shapes, but not that many. Some interesting connections, like this one here, with the spiral here. But again, not so many. After you solve the funny shapes, what you have really is these shapes that do not really interlock very well with each other. That at a glance, you can't really tell that this one is not really the same as that one or something else. So when it comes to solving the puzzle, I would say all these pieces, they add to the complexity, but they also make the puzzle a little bit tedious. And it's hard to define when is it that a puzzle is hard and exciting and hard and a bit tedious, other than you search your feelings and you describe it in those terms. I don't have a scientific element. I know that there are puzzles that are hard, but the patterns are fun to work with. And here, that was just not the case. I'm happy that I solved it. I think the image is quite attractive. But after I solved the edges and I have these blobs here, whitish areas or gray areas there, and these pieces that all look like more or less they could go and more or less not really. I mean, I wish when I really had fun, when it was interesting, is when I saw interesting shapes, interesting connections in this edge there. In this edge here. So I see a piece looking like that, a piece looking like that, and then I'm looking for a piece that has a similar edge, and like lo and behold, I find it. But if I just have all of these pieces, they're more likely the same. Then it just becomes tedious to try them on, So, not a bad puzzle, but there are moments in which I was just a little bit bored. The production, again, is good. It's, I would say it looks like a boutique puzzle done on the cheap. It's not like a solid Ravensburger. It's like they're trying to be really cool and really fancy. At the same time, on that plus, it's more affordable than other boutique puzzles. But it just ends up being a subpar excellent puzzle, which is a weird way of describing it, but that's just the best way I can think on describing how I felt as I was playing the puzzle. It's a deluxe puzzle, luxury puzzle of somewhat subpar quality. It's a mediocre, excellent puzzle, and that's the best way in which I can describe this puzzle here.